Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Mainstream Monday here on Our Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
John Ward, did you know that my middle name is exciting?
it. It is?
Yeah.
I thought I know what your middle name is. Is it is pretty exciting. Do you
It,
want me
it yes, what is it?
Lee?
That's one of my middle names, yeah.
Oh, wait, you have more than one middle name?
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that has four names.
Ah,
So it's John William Lee Ward because William Lee Ward is my father's father. So I guess would be my grandfather, but I've never met him. So
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
I only have one. Nice, Alexander.
Hence the
Um,
A.
Jonathan A. Yeah.
There you go. So
It's on my Facebook as like Jonathan A. So it's so funny because I did that stupid dating thing for Facebook, and I want to get rid of it where it just says Jonathan A. You know, that's what it pops up as when people come there because that's what it pops up as on my. For some reason, I put Jonathan A, not just Jonathan. For my name there, I guess to separate myself from all the. There's another Jonathan A. Moody out there. Actually, there's a couple and stuff. And
how dare that person?
well, you know what? Okay, real quick. This is funny. So one of my friends who I've known and I've met at a horror convention once, and she's a trauma girl. She's worked at the trauma booth and she's friends with a lot of people there. She was dating, and I think she's married right now to a Jonathan Moody. Random, random. So when
Oh, that's
I
that's the story.
well, the funny
I
thing
thought there
about
was
it
more.
is like I added her as a friend and was already talking to that Jonathan Moody, you know, and it confused her husband, guy, because he doesn't like it because I got the Twitter handle for Jonathan Moody before he did and jumped
I,
on
I
that shit.
I had a guy on Facebook who was trying to be friends with all the John Wards.
Nice. Or was he trying to start a John Ward like takeover of the
I
world?
mean, I mean, maybe he friend requested me and I said, hey, we have the same name, and he goes, I know, I'm friend requesting anybody with the name John Ward. And I thought, okay,
Is all right.
why
Oh,
not?
perfect.
Go for it.
All right, so we're not here to talk about our names. We are
No,
here to talk about Insidious, the
another
ins
name, Insidious.
and the
Yes,
Insidious saga. Saga. It's going to continue. Part five comes out in July,
so excited, so
I
excited.
think.
Yep, directed by
And
Patrick Wilson.
what a I can't wait. Um, but I had never seen Insidious Chapter 3. Now,
Ah.
I thought I had watched some of it or something, but I hadn't. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to explain how we're doing it.
Well, and to just kind of piggyback off of what you said, I'd only watched parts one and two. I never saw three and four until I got that Blu-ray collect. I'm sorry, DVD collection, and then did the marathon. So this is my second viewing, where like the Conjuring stuff was like my third viewing.
Mm,
So, but what we're doing is the same idea with the Conjuring. Is we are watching them in order of year that they take place in, not in the order that they were released in the theaters.
right.
So the first
Chronological
one,
order, I think is what it's called.
chronological order, yeah. And so part three is first, then part four, then part one, then part two. So that's how we will be reviewing these. And did you think, as a standalone movie, like let's say this was the first one, like we didn't have any of the other ones yet, like this was just the Insidious. Do you think this would have worked as the first film?
I mean, sure. I mean, it almost felt like it was almost a completely different movie, you know, in a way. But I
Yeah.
mean, we'll get into more of that. But like, that was my take when I was watching it, going, I could see this as like if by some chance Blumhouse had said no, that's not the direction we wanted to go, Lee Winnell could have just taken the script and just tweaked a few things, then a whole completely new movie, you know. In my opinion. It felt a little different, which was good. You don't want necessarily the same movie over and over again, in your movies. And
Well, yeah, because in the other films, some of the stuff is already established. The house, that Lin Shaye lives in is already established in the other movies. And then, of course, the old woman that's torturing her is already
yep.
established. So did you feel that stuff kind of worked? Like, once again, if this was the first movie, like,
Yeah,
did it
I mean,
confuse you? Like, who is this old woman, or did they explain enough to where you understood?
no,
Um,
I think it was understandable because like I mean all it is a setup like I mean from the very beginning she's coming the main girl comes to Elise and says I've
yeah, at least
heard you were a really good psychic and I need somebody to help me with this. And I mean literally that could be any movie start, you know
right.
like that's a good start to any movie. So like it didn't matter. We don't need the backstory because this is the prequel. So this is literally like they haven't had that, time. And in fact, I kind of liked that they did a prequel, for two reasons. One, because hell, I love Lin Shaye, and I thought she was the best character. So, spoiler alert for other movies, if you haven't seen the other Insidious movies, she dies, which, is sad, but sort of this movie sort of makes it seem like it might be a happy ending in a way because she's going to be with their, you know, love of her life, on the other
Their
side.
husband. So,
Yeah.
well, and we're introduced to her brother, but we actually meet him in part four.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's you get more background on him in part four.
Which one's the
So
brother?
the brother was the one where she met him like at the cafe, and
Oh,
she's like,
okay.
I don't know what I'm doing, and he's like, no, this is what your mission in
Oh,
life
and
is.
he's the one who like, okay, I was not sure the relationship. I forget. I did not hear that part. I didn't hear, oh, you're my brother and stuff. So I didn't pick that up. But was that Christian or who was Bruce Davison?
That was the brother.
That was the brother. Okay. So who was the husband?
The
His
husband.
his name was Jack.
I got it actually right here, so let's see if I can. A guy named Adrian Sparks.
Okay. He was good. I liked him. But so was the brother. So
And are we sure the brother's Bruce Davison? What was the? Do you remember the brother's name? Because he's not listed.
in the IMDb
Well, I'm looking at Wikipedia, and it says cast, and he's not here.
on IMDb, I believe it's Christian Rayner. Okay, there's Jack Rayner. The
Who's the
brother
husband?
was the brother was um I'm not sure. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe Bruce Davison shows up in this the next one. I thought, you know what, he was probably in the next one because I know he's in the next one as Christian Rayner, which or whatever. Like he was the I guess he's related to maybe he's like the father or something of or I don't know. It's gonna be weird um because her last name is Rayner and then later there's a Melissa Rayner in part four. There's a Melissa Rayner, a Gerald Rayner, Audrey Rayner, and a Christian Rayner. And I'm wondering who Bruce Davison plays. Must play like a father or a grandfather or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say.
Yeah, I'm trying to just look in the description here for like if he's mentioned, and I don't see them mentioning. Yeah, it should be right. Alex suggests Sean call on alleged. So Alex. So Sean is Dermot Mulroney.
Mm-hmm.
So is it Alex? Is he Alex?
Isn't that the son?
Oh, yeah, the son suggested the dad to call them. Yeah, okay, so it is the son. Um,
Who's Carl? I think that was Carl that we saw.
so Stephen Coulter, maybe? Carl?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Interestingly enough, he was also in Annabelle Comes Home.
Okay, maybe that's him
And
then.
he was Father Gordon in The Conjuring. So he was Carl in there. Are you sure he was a brother? He was the brother?
I'm pretty sure.
And you said he comes back in the next one because that character never comes back in the unless it's a younger version of him.
Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought for some reason that it was the I thought it was her brother.
I don't know. I'm guessing not.
Well, fuck this shit.
It's okay. Moving on. Moving on. I thought we were gonna show
Yeah.
off our collection. Let's do that
Well,
first.
now I'm annoyed
It's okay.
because now
Okay.
I need to know.
Well, is not in the Wikipedia?
Well, it says Carl, but I don't know who Carl is. So Lin Shay, and then we have the young version of Lin Shay. Then there's the teenage version of Lin Shay because there's a lot of flashbacks. Tucker Effect, Melissa Rayner, Bruce Davidson. Okay, maybe it's a different guy. I don't know. I
It
thought it
says
was Bruce
Carl is
Davidson.
a psychic medium and demonologist and an old friend of Elise Rayner. He appears in Insidious Chapter 2, and makes an appearance in Insidious Chapter 3.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so
So,
the brother's only in part 4 then. Okay, my bad. Okay,
okay. All right. Anyway, moving on.
okay.
Moving on.
Now that we
So,
got that figured out,
I'm going to show off mine real quick because you made me go
sure.
grab it. And the
I
first
give
one
you nothing.
is the first Insidious, of course. And that I already owned. So I'd owned that before a while back. Then I just got this sent to me.
Nice.
Insidious
Wow, you
2.
disappeared.
Yep, Chapter 2. And then we just watched this. Insidious
Chapter
Chapter
3.
3. And then, of course, Chapter 4. All on
Chapter 4.
Blu-ray. All on
Nice.
Blu-ray. I love it. I'm happy. Just because, I mean, there's only four of them, other than like The Conjuring has eight, so it's a more big of a pain in the ass to get the Conjuring series. Actually, it's gonna have nine, and then 10, 11. If you don't catch up, I'm gonna have to buy that box set at some point, and then keep adding to it. But what is it? It's nice to have all four of these. Then when the fifth one comes out in Halloweenish time, for on Blu-ray, I'll buy it. So I think it takes about 3 or 4 months before it leaves the theater and goes to Blu-ray.
Yeah, it'll probably be out by Christmas or something like that, or January or something like that.
Yeah, I could probably get it at the Black Friday sale.
Yeah. So mine are DVD, and it's the collection of all four.
All four on DVD.
Yeah. So, I'm okay with this, but it's parts 1 and 2 on one disc,
You
and then parts 3 and 4 on the other disc.
and you said
But
like they have no special
there's
features, right?
no special features at all. It's just a simple menu that just says part 1, part 2,
Oof.
subtitles,
That's like
and that's
Mill
it.
Creek style. kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean that's especially with us going through all the Conjuring stuff, and I could watch all the special features and deleted scenes, and so it kind of bummed me out. So that it didn't have it, but oh well. I mean, I am happy like you are. I'm happy with what I have, but for what we want to do, I wish I had special features.
Right.
So and so the thing that I want to point out with these movies is it's Sony, but it's also Blumhouse. And but what I find interesting is that the director of Paranormal Activity is one of the producers on these.
Right.
He's like one of the main producers, and he's also the producer, one of the producers of Part Five. So, and I mentioned this in a video that I put out a while back, that he's only directed 2 movies, and
Who?
everything else is produced by him.
Who?
That I have to see his name to be able to say it. It's help me, Jonathan. This writing is incredibly small.
Are you talking about the guy who did part 4?
Paranormal Activity.
Oh, Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's one of the producers on this.
oh, on the producers on part
All of
3.
them. No, on
Oh,
all of them.
cool. Well, yeah, I'm guessing Oren Pelly.
Yeah. So he is. I have to see his name to be able to pronounce it. But I just find it weird that he's produced all this stuff. I mean, all the Paranormal Activity films,
Yeah,
including the brand new one that still hasn't come out yet.
and he's done all the
Um,
Insidious. That's
all
awesome.
the Insidious
He
movies. He
must
did The
be good friends,
River.
like because Jason Blum, when he was starting Blumhouse as like a big thing, he got Paranormal Activity was the movie that put him on the map, right? Like that was the first one to get marketed and get all the money. Then they were able to make other movies because of that. And I mean, Jason Blum has been producing movies for a while, but sort of not in the he did not create Blumhouse, I don't think, till like 2009 or whatever it
Well,
was
he
for Paranormal Activity.
yeah, it's yeah, I think I'd have to look up exactly what it was. I did just watch on something like Film Hustle or something is what it's called, and it's a channel on YouTube. It's very kind of deceiving. Is he's interviewed, and it says, how to produce an independent film with Jason Blum, and it was about 45 minutes. I think it's called like Hollywood Film Hustle or something like that is the channel, and um I got nothing out of it.
He didn't tell
Nothing.
you anything?
I have no idea how to produce an independent short film from that 45 minutes. And he does kind of talk about the origins of Blumhouse. He talks about The Purge, and then, yeah, Paranormal Activity and stuff. But it's he's incredibly vague about things, and which was kind of
I
disappointing.
mean,
And
I
and
don't really know what he could tell you that you probably don't. Or it's Indie Film Hustle.
that's it.
I'm happy that Alex Ferrari, who is part of Indie Film Hustle, shout out to Alex. He's really awesome. Got Jason Blum. That's a big get. I mean, he's getting some bigger names, but Alex has directed his own movies and stuff, and but his channel has really taken off and doing really well for him. So congratulations to that. Did not know he did. I'll have to check that interview out and let you know my thoughts on it. But I mean, it it's hard to like tell you inside information without sort of, you know, breaking rules. You know what I mean? Like this, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be tough
Well,
to tell you how to make your own independent film and he does it differently than everybody else, you
Well,
know?
it's one of those things where, and at first I wasn't digging on the host. I've only watched a few of them, and because he's always laughing and everything, and he constantly says fair enough. And but then I realized, well, when I do my own interviews for one filmmaker, one film, I'm laughing a lot.
Hmm.
and because you're kind of just happy to have the guy there. Whoever you're
Right.
interviewing, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I got this person to be on my show.
Especially a big name like person
Like
like
Jason,
Jason Blum.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of that kind of euphoria, and you're kind of giggling and stuff like that
Right.
because you're happy. So, but I don't think that he was asking really kind of, I don't know, important questions on it, because he says, to Jason Blum, well, how did you get your start? And he mentions a couple movies I've never heard of, like two or three movies
Did
that
you
they
mention
were.
Kicking and Screaming? I love that
He
movie.
did mention that. Yeah, that's one that he mentioned. And he
That's a
said that
Criterion film, by the way. Criterion
it's a
bought
good,
that at one
I
point.
remember it being good. He said one of the characters is based on him.
Hmm.
And, but I guess something happened to where he wasn't really involved in it after that. But he talks about these first few couple movies, and then the interviewer just goes, okay, now let's talk about Paranormal Activity. And Jason Blum goes, wow, we jumped a lot. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't care about Paranormal Activity. I just watch the documentary. I want to
Yeah.
hear about how he got to Paranormal Activity and The Purge and some of these other movies.
Sounds like
You
you need
know,
a one filmmaker, one film interview with Jason Blum, and you could talk about one of his older works, and
I
then
think
talk about that.
so.
Just
Yeah, I
hook
mean,
that up, man. I mean, if this guy can, I don't see why you couldn't. You know.
yeah, my
Um,
people are getting bigger, bigger with like Daniel Farards and stuff. So he's
yeah. So who
the
knows?
biggest guy that I've had on there so far. But
Um, but like, yeah, I'd rather know how it went from doing these smaller independent films that whatever to going to Paranormal Activity. Maybe because he knew he only had 45 minutes that they had to jump to a certain, you know what I mean? Like they can't stay on that stuff and just be about his older work. A lot of times you gotta talk about his newer work. He's somebody you can't have for 45 minutes. You have to have for like 2 hours
oh
because,
yeah, but he probably gives an hour. He's like, okay, yeah, it's Sunday. You got me for an hour.
yeah.
And so you're kind of but and he closed it out at 45 minutes, which in a way is fine because you don't want to keep the guy on. I thought I probably kept Daniel on for a little longer than he probably wanted to be on, but he was nice enough to stay on.
One of the
And
first guests I ever had that was long was Steve Lemmy, and it became like 3 hours, I believe, or 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, and it was like the longest I had done at that time, just because I knew too much about the guy, just like you did with Daniel. When I listened to your Daniel interview, like you knew a lot about him,
yeah,
and everything. So I'd bring up stuff, and he'd be like, "Wow, you really know way, way a lot, so much about, and everything." So Steve Lemmy from the Broken Lizard groups, the Super Troopers and whatnot, I love those guys, and so when I,
yeah, they're funny.
was asking questions about his earlier work, like the tinfoil monkey agenda, and he was just like, "How do you even know about that?" That's on
Well, that's the thing
IMDb.
is yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of somebody and you do your research, and
Yeah,
you want to keep them on, because with like Daniel, I had the stack of movies next to me, and I'm like, and he's audio, so he can't see what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess you'll have to watch the interview to see what I'm doing. But we're already at like 2 hours, and I'm like,
hmm
well, can you stay on? I still have movies and to show. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that we were gonna do like a whole thing on my whole history.
yeah.
You
Well, it's
know,
called One Filmmaker, One Film, right? So he's
yeah,
probably
it's
thinking you were going
kind
to
of
just talk
gotten up.
mainly.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten away from that, but I
Maybe
may
you
go
should
back
start a
to
new
it.
one that's not just about that and just all about interviewing and stuff. That way you can do a filmmaker, one film thing, then one that, I mean, that's just my suggestion. Don't like,
But I mean, but what do you do? I mean, like when it's something new, when if it's a filmmaker that only has like two movies, you can go, okay, well, let's talk about this one this time, and then
right.
next season we'll talk about the next one. But you got something like Daniel, who's out there with like 10 films,
You gotta pick the
Amityville
best one.
documentaries. Yeah, and it's like, fuck, I want to talk about all of them, because there's so many and I like them.
I know
But
that's,
so, but yeah, it may have to go back to the old format. So, because I guess it just depends on who I'm interviewing. But I do
yeah.
appreciate Daniel, sticking around. So I can only imagine what what this guy must have thought with having Jason Blum there, and
hmm
it's Um, they did talk about some interesting things. They talk it to like welcome to the Blumhouse, as he points out, it's the Blumhouse, not welcome to Blumhouse, but it's welcome to the Blumhouse. And I guess they're doing a season 2 of that, and
Nice.
it's yeah. And for people who don't know, that's like 4 directors that would normally not get a chance to be put out there. So he made a deal with Amazon, and so now you can see their films on Amazon as part of that series. So he picks people that don't really have a chance, or maybe their stuff is too weird. So
Like,
it's
does he produce them, or does he find movies that
I think
have
he
already been
produces
out?
them. Yeah, I
Okay.
think he produces it.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think.
okay.
I could be wrong. He might just distribute
And
them.
and that's what I like. So he gives chances. Like, so James Wan directed the first two Insidious movies, and then he had to step away because um he was directing Fast 7 at the time. And he at that time they were gonna go right into Insidious 3, and so Lee stepped into the director's chair, and this was his like directorial debut, as far as like I don't know if he's done any shorts or anything, but like this is the first feature I believe that he did. Later he did The Invisible Man, which I had them Insidious and The Invisible Man, since Insidious and Invisible, they were right next to each other alphabetically, so that was kind of neat, you know.
Well,
I
don't
don't know if
forget
he
Upgrade
planned
too.
that, in life, but, you know.
I doubt it's just coincidence. But he also did Upgrade, so which is really good.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah. So there you go.
I mean, both of us obviously are big James Wan fans, and we kind of like everything that kind of comes out of Wan, out of James Wan,
Comes out of James. I don't know if
comes
I
out of.
want everything that comes out of James.
But
Sorry,
it's
James. There's some things I don't want coming out of you.
well, I watched a YouTube like I don't know, it's not a collection, but it's a documentary on all of the Fast and Furious movies
Hmm.
up to the current one. Not 10, but up to the one where like they go in space, I guess. And they talk a lot about the James Wan one, how like him and Vin Diesel did not get along, how he was kind of removed from the movie, and so he wasn't there during like the editing phase.
That
That it
sucks.
Yeah, that they just, which is why they didn't have him come back for the next one. They went with one of the other directors, like Justin Lin, I think, came back.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of like a one-time guy. But you would just think, with all these universes that he's created, that should be easy to work with and all
Oh, he
that. And
probably
so,
is.
oh no, I'm thinking it's probably Vin Diesel. I mean,
Yeah.
The
I mean,
Rock isn't even coming back. So, and he didn't get
yeah, I've
along
heard The
with
Rock and Vin
Diesel.
Diesel don't get along or something. So, I mean, I get that. I wonder if
Well,
that is.
it's all ego.
Yeah, I mean, but see, but that's the thing. A you can't have a business that pretty much rests on ego and then not expect that to be the big problem that's going
Well,
on with
Vin
everything.
Diesel's it's always been about ego. I met him in 2000 when I went to the Sundance Film Festival. I was at a party there that Spike Lee was having,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and like uh uh he was there along with like Vince Vaughn was there. There were a group of people there, and they were showing Boiler Room. That's like right when
Nice.
Boiler Room came
I
out,
love that
and
movie.
so yeah, it's a good film. And when he was there, I said, "Hey, man, I really like your movie." And he's like, "Hey, thanks." And we had like a conversation for a little bit. So I think then he was just a little, like, "Wow, I'm really happy that people like my stuff and
Humbled
everything."
and,
Yeah. And then later, when it became like Pitch Black, he was that way. And then when Riddick came out, he was the ego, because he would charge like $1 million more or something for him to just take his shirt off.
yeah.
And
It
and so
happens. I mean, when you start and look, a lot of people don't really realize this or ever think about this, but a lot of it is not the actors. it's their managers, it's their
Managers,
people,
agents,
agents,
it's
everybody
friends.
pushing
Yeah.
them to go that route, right? Because if an agent and a manager pushes you to get more money, they get more money. So it totally makes more sense. So, and it's a business, you know? So I totally get it. And I never get upset if I hear like someone sort of ego driven in this industry because that's I mean it's kind of to be expected at some point when it's the only problem I have is when indie people who have not done enough really like start getting an ego, then I start going, yeah, you gotta work it, you gotta
Do you
earn
mean
it,
more like
you know.
micro budget indie or
Yeah,
people
stuff
like
like
we know?
that, or even people who like only produce because they pay money for
Ah.
stuff or whatever. I'm just gonna say that, but like there are some
Right.
people who I just feel like they get this big ego in the industry, in the independent industry, that they don't need because it's, you know, why do you need that, and everything. So
Right.
I
Well,
honest
yeah, I just found it weird that James Wan was the one who had a problem. You know, that there was this issue. Like he was the only one that
he was
had
the
a
only
problem.
one.
The only one. Ooh.
Join me for
Ooh.
my pun class, everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just unfortunate because he also got and they actually said that in this is that it was also Paul Walker is with his death that Vin Diesel basically became like a different person, like, and he took it all out on James Wan.
that
And
sucks because it's
yeah,
yeah,
and that James Wan was like, I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna leave,
oh man, that sucks.
what am I supposed to do? So, but speaking of James Wan, did you see his cameo
I
in
did. I loved
Insidious
his
3?
yeah, bring it back to what the movie we're actually supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, see,
Stay on target. Um,
stay on target.
so yeah, I loved it. I was like, at first I was like, is that James Wan? No, because I wasn't sure if like they got somebody else to basically, like play him kind of thing, But I was like, that is cute, having him play the theater guy. I kind of wish they did more with him a little bit, like where he would be like, like having a bullhorn or something and be like,
Oh,
please
geez.
get off the stage, you know, you
Like
are,
Huey Lewis and Back to the Future,
yeah, that
the
kind of thing.
bullhorn him.
Yeah.
You're just too loud, son. You're just too loud.
Keep forgetting that's Huey Lewis, and then they're playing the Back in Time song or whatever they're
Yeah,
playing the song.
love is what they're playing. Yeah,
What is it? Is it
Power of Love.
Hour of Love? Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's now. Did you feel now? I felt with the daughter and the dad says that she at the beginning of the film says that she's being selfish. Because she's like, Dad, I have to study my lines. I have that thing, and I do like the word that he uses, which is drowning. He's like, help me, I'm drowning, which I really liked. I like that choice of the word drowning instead of
mhm.
dying or whatever it is. I like drowning. Do you feel that she was being, because he calls her selfish? Do you think that she was being selfish?
I I think it's too much to ask you know, child in a way, to basically do all the stuff, extra stuff that he can't do because the mom's not there anymore. So basically you're asking her to be a mom. And I think it's a really difficult kind of thing, period. And I think it's really well done because there is no right or wrong, I don't believe. I think she was right and he was right. There's no neither of them are wrong on the idea on their thing. So I think I that's the thing. I think this is one of the best written movies I've seen Lee do, and I haven't seen the fourth one yet, so I have no idea, but the first two Insidious I have seen, and I remember them being good, really, really good. But I think this is the even including Upgrade and whatever, because just like just some of those dialogue that they had just felt real and felt fun at times, or felt real and felt like that, like her talking to her dad, that just felt really real and stuff that probably kids have to do when their parent dies. They have to take over, be a parent
Right.
to the kid, and an extra parent, and that sucks because they need to be a kid, you know. Um, you know what I mean? They need to be able to graduate, go do the stuff that they need to do because if they get stuck doing that, they're not going to be able to go, you know, have that life.
But it's not like the dad was bad.
No, no, not at all.
Excuse
And the
me.
dad
I mean,
wasn't
you
an
know, he
asshole or anything. He
no,
was
he's just trying to survive. I got another one
right.
coming, I think. But the friend, the daughter's friend, right before she gets hit by the car, which I forgot about, which looked pretty damn good.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Look
the
better in
friend
high
goes, "Well,
definition, I bet.
I bet, I bet." I just had DVD quality of her getting hit by a car. So, but the friend is like, "Well, don't worry about it. You'll be able, soon enough you'll be in New York and
She has the
you'll be
best
away
line.
from
She has the
him."
best
And
line where she says that pretty soon your dad will just be a bank you see on Thanksgiving. I was like, that is the best. That was hilarious. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but that
it became when she New York, it was the phone call once a week. Then it would become the month, and then it would be visiting on Thanksgiving. And then he would be
yeah, it
just
would just be a bank
the
that she sees
bank.
on Thanksgiving, and I really
Yeah.
like that line. That was a good line, and I really like the line earlier in the movie where Lin Shaye says about the I quoted it on Facebook. I put it up there. I really liked it. People knew exactly what I was talking about. You have to be careful. If you call out to one of the dead, all of them can hear you, and we'll get to that later. But that the lines like that just made me go, "This is a really fucking good movie." It's happy about it.
I liked it more this time than I did when I first did my marathon. I thought this was the weakest.
Really,
So yeah, but I now actually really like it. I now really enjoy it. So it's going to be interesting when we do our ranking because
it
I'm
will
not.
be. I don't know. Like it's funny because I haven't seen the first two in forever since like they both came out whenever they came out and stuff. So like it's gonna be fun to revisit those and see if my feelings have changed um on them. But I do
Well,
really like them.
they're interesting films because they're like inside the further, I think is what she calls it, the further, that it's a hallway
And it
in like a
looks like The
building.
Shining. Oh wait, no, no, that's the place they're at. It looks like The Shining, the apartment building or whatever complex.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, when you
I
see the hallway, when she's like when she
Oh,
got
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, as I'm sure that was probably an influence
yeah,
on
it
it. But
was.
I think what they did was by taking just like a room and a hallway and all that, they could reuse it and then just throw some smoke in with some red and green lights, and then you have the further. Now you're
Well,
in
it was
like this
supposed to
whole
be,
other
right? Because
world.
it was supposed to
Well,
be where she's at. She's supposed to be going up to
but it's
the room.
smart. That's my
Huh.
point. Is that it's smart. It's not. They didn't have to go out and create an entire new set.
Right.
They could just use that one, and I thought that was smart. I'm still amazed that these are PG-13 and the Conjuring films are R. These are much scarier than the Conjuring stuff.
Yeah, it's PG-13. Didn't even feel
Yeah,
like it. Felt like it was R rated, but
yeah. It's weird because I
they
think
don't have any
those are pretty.
cursing in it really. I don't remember anybody other than bitch was said,
Yeah, the daughter
come
gets
on,
mad every once
bitch,
in a while.
you know.
Oh
Which
yeah, the
great line. Come on, bitch. Lynn
well, and
Shay
what did
knocked
you
it out of
think
the
of the?
park in this movie.
Oh, it's basically her film.
I know. Well,
Um,
once again, it was because they killed her off, and then they're like, "We killed off the best fucking character. We got to bring her back. We got to give her a origin story."
yeah, which I think was kind of smart to do. So,
Mhm.
and I thought that she eats it up. I am so happy that Lin Shaye has a career, and she's obviously been working for like decades. Because every
Yep.
once in a while, you pop in a movie, and there she is.
I was watching Wes Craven's New Nightmare because we reviewed it for 90s horror, and uh Lin Shaye is the one of the nurse or whatever, and
Oh,
stuff.
doesn't she have
And
like the glove on at one? And
I
she
think
does the like she does.
maybe
Doesn't she
I
do something with the glove?
I don't don't recall real quick. I She might have in the first movie, because the first movie she played a teacher, you know, and stuff. So I thought it was really nice that Wes Craven directed the first one, and then 20 years later used Lin Shaye again. I mean, obviously it was New Line Cinema produced, and Robert Shaye was her,
Right.
brother. But she's one of those people. I've interviewed her, and I'm friends with her on Facebook. She's really sweet, always nice to me, always very supportive. And those are the kind of people, kind of like James Wan, being friends with James Wan on Facebook. Fucking awesome, like really sweet people, who are just very humbled by where they are. They definitely don't seem like they have egos at all. I mean, if they do, it's deserved once again, but I don't feel like they act like they
She
do.
doesn't seem like it. She's now the kind of go-to older woman for a horror movie now. Like
Yeah.
she was in the Grudge, the most recent Grudge, which I liked and nobody else did. So she kind of be playing those roles now, which I think is great. I love that she's almost kind of has this Jamie Lee Curtis feel with
Hmm.
her. That you see her
Jamie
name
Lee
on
Curtis
something and
turned
you're
it
like, oh,
down. Let's give
cool.
it to Lin Shaye.
There you go. It's
Oh,
because Jamie Lee Curtis didn't have her Activia, so she
yeah.
was not regular that
Oh
day.
my God. Activia. Oh Lord. Um,
So, what did you then think of the man who can't breathe?
I was
That is
like,
what they call
I
him.
got really upset because I was watching it going, she's in the further and everything, and I'm like, take the fucking mask off of him. Take it off. Take it off. She pushes him, and I'm like, why did you push him? Okay, she's coming up again. Pushes him again, and I'm like, take the mask off. I guarantee you that motherfucker can't breathe. And that was the whole key to the whole thing, was just taking that mask off. And of course, and they had to keep having her push him so that later the mom can, tell her to
Right.
or tell her to do that, I guess, is what she whispers.
So we should know that whenever somebody's wearing a mask, like Bane, in Batman, that you just have to just kick it
Yank it
off or
off,
rip it
yeah.
off or
It was
damage
easy.
it, and, and
All
that
she did was go like
that's like their
this.
Achilles heel.
She just grabbed it like that, and just pulled it off. And I was like, oh, it's that easy? Okay. You know, why didn't Lin Shaye do that? Because I guess it wasn't the girl was supposed to be strong, and I don't know,
It's
maybe if she,
probably
you
it
know,
was a little slimy, like you could see like a couple things coming off of it. But since it is kind of a big deal that's what kills him, maybe it should have been as she's taking it off, like it's peeling from his face.
ew.
Like it's more part of him instead of just going, oh, okay, there you go, now you're dead.
There you go. There you're done.
So that was a little bit of a letdown. So yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool.
I mean, it's fine, but I don't know, for
It,
something. It really is like Bane in Dark Knight Rises, where it's like, well, fuck, that's all you'd have to do is hit his face.
yeah.
So Batman couldn't just hit his face, just kick him, and it didn't even like
Batman's
knock
too
his mask
nice.
off.
Batman's too
So
nice. He's not going to do that.
did you hear that Christian Bale is coming back as Batman?
I've I've
That is the
heard
rumor.
somewhat, and he's kind of like, his mansion is shown in the Flash trailer. So yeah, I've heard that, but um you know eh, you know it's cool, like all the Batman.
We'll see.
You know what, I'm gonna go to the Batman movie, not the Flash movie, because that's what it's basically becoming, is the new Batman movie that happens to also have the Flash. you know,
Well, we'll
which
see.
I,
We'll
I
see.
think was the better marketing ploy for them. Warner Brothers, get your shit together. You don't.
Oh well, the all the Michael Keaton stuff is very intentional. I mean, they knew what they were selling this on.
Right.
So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still not
Oh,
happy about
and
Superman, but what are you gonna do?
I wasn't happy that Ezra Miller is the still the Flash, but somebody has sort of kind of let me know that that I mean, I don't know if this is a rumor, if this is real, or if this is whatever, but that Ezra Miller is most likely gone after the Flash. Like they really, but they're saying they're keeping him around because if they don't say that, he will, then why would want people want to go to see the Flash if he's never going to be like it would seem like it's but now all the marketing is all about Batman and Batgirl, which Batgirl looked kind of lame. I
Oh
wasn't
wait,
happy with that.
Batgirl or Supergirl?
It was Batgirl. There was Batgirl in it too, I think. Batwoman.
What? No, it's Kara.
No, there's Kara too, but
Are
there's
you talking about
also
the Flash?
yeah, in the trailer, yeah.
I
Uh,
didn't see that
we'll
at
we'll get
all.
into that later. Well,
Yeah, and
that's a whole
since they
nother.
completely pulled the movie from existence,
Yeah.
Batgirl. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I didn't
Well,
see that at all. I even saw somebody who went frame by frame in it. Didn't see Batgirl at all.
oh, okay. I was
What
pretty sure that was
a
Batgirl that
YouTuber.
they. Okay. I saw Kara, but anyway.
Well, she's in it a lot near the end. She's got the shirt that hangs low with the writing on it, and then you see her in the costume.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll see. Whatever. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Um,
But this DC is Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers produced The Conjuring, which was directed by James Wan, and James Wan is one of the producers on Insidious films, which was written by Lin Wandell. So now we're back to the Conjuring films,
the Insidious movies.
Insidious movies.
Yeah, you said the
Yes.
Conjuring movies. No, we're done with the Conjuring. We are now back on Insidious. So, um, yeah, as far as like, the character who couldn't breathe or the man who couldn't breathe or whatever, I thought he looked kind of cool. There was that one shot of him coming out from the lighting of the in the apartment or whatever, and he's like walking out and everything, and you look at him, he looked more like an alien than anything, and I was like, oh my God, that's like cool looking character. Um, and there's been some confusion as to, and then the IMDb had trivia states that she claims that he's a demon, right? But he wasn't a demon, he might have been just a ghost. And she might have just called him a demon, but he was technically a ghost.
My question was, is how did she get him in there? Like, if they'd already been living there for years, and the mom was there, and the kids were born there, and what is maybe, when did she actually call him?
Well, here's the thing. I think what happened was he's already been there. He was living there for years. He was killing people there. Remember, there's one woman that died and stuff. And was like his original pet, you know, and stuff. Um, I
Wait, his
think
original pet?
remember she said I was his pet. You don't remember
Oh,
that?
oh, the women in the further, like the one that
Yeah,
had
the woman
the
in the
rain
further.
coming down on her. Okay.
Yeah. So she died earlier, at that apartment before uh before, so I think he was already there. And she just when she called out to all the ghosts, he came, you know, like he attached himself to her.
So so he was never seen, heard, or whatever until the mother died?
Which one? No, like yeah, because like after the mother
Because
died,
she doesn't comment that the noises and all that stuff were happening before mom. She thought the noises were the mom after the mom
oh,
died.
that's true. So I don't know, but see, he had some kind of attachment to the room above them. right? I don't know why. Why, like, all of a sudden everything was up there, like his he had the this um footprints and stuff in there and
Yeah, the
everything,
gooey footprints. Yeah.
gooey footprints. So like he had some kind of attachment to that one room, 500 and something or whatever. Um, so I'm wondering what that meant. Did that character, I'm wondering if that was a ghost that died in that apartment.
Well, that's what I figured it was, that he died. I didn't connect the two of upstairs and him, but I guess so.
Yeah.
Um, because he seems to kind of walk and do gooey steps everywhere. But yeah, I mean, if that was his room and he
Yeah,
died
because
in that
she
room,
remember like there's that one point where he cracked the ceiling and stuff
right?
because he was up there, and then I guess they couldn't see him at first, but she could because she was sort of attached to him. She was the one who called for him and everything. So
So I guess by her trying to talk to her mother, that attached him to her.
I guess I don't know. It's a little confusing because I don't understand. So let's take it back. So in the beginning of the movie, she Quinn goes to visit Elise and tells her who she is, right? And stuff, and says, I need help. I'm being, attacked by this, or because she says she needs help, like finding her mother. Then
Yeah,
all
the
of
the
us,
the ghost guy is not mentioned at all. She
yeah,
just wants to
but
contact her
she
mom.
is mentioned. He is mentioned because Lise later says, when they're talking, says you have tried to contact your mother before, haven't you? I can tell, basically. She can tell that she has already tried to contact this. She can feel the spirit, of whatever's out there, I'm guessing. In the beginning of the movie.
Right. I'm not convinced that's what did it though. I mean, then that means anybody could do that. That's
Right.
my
And that's why
my
she says, do not do not try to contact her, when you get home. Do not ever try to contact somebody, without help, you know.
but it's already there.
Yeah, because she already did it.
I'm confused. I'm not buying
She
this at
already did it
all. So
before. She tried to reach
I'm
out to her
questioning
mother.
your great writing.
Hold
So
on. So she tried to contact this guy or her mom before. She tried to contact her mom before, did not work. So she went to Elise to try to figure it out. It's already there. It had killed some lady and made her his pet
but
and
it
stuff like
wasn't
this.
there. It wasn't there.
It wasn't there until she got back from the, thing, but
No,
Elise's house.
because she thinks that her mom is trying to contact her.
But her mom's not. It's that thing.
Right, but the thing wasn't there before.
I'm saying it must have been because
It can't. No, it can't be. It might have, but maybe that it couldn't do anything because you would have to think, okay, well, how long have these people lived in this apartment? Were the kids born there? Did they just move there yesterday? Where have they been there for 10 years? And if they were, then why wasn't any of this happening?
right,
It's not like the daughter went up to the dad and said, "Hey dad, remember before mom died when all the windows suddenly opened?" So all this started happening when the mom died, and
right.
she was trying to contact the mom, but I guess accidentally
That's what I'm
contacted
saying. That's what
the guy
happened.
in the mask, who then she thought was the mom.
Right.
So I guess he's been floating around
Yeah.
and just
So that's
nobody's
why she goes to Elise and asks for help.
okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So she had
I think that should
already
have been done better.
So she already tried to bring back or contact her mom because she had wanted to ask her some questions. I don't know what questions she wanted to ask her. I guess I don't know. but she wanted to ask her some questions. We never get that part because Elise tries to contact her mom, and her mom she doesn't get her mom, she gets the lady that tries to kill her or
The
whatever,
old, yeah, the old woman.
the old woman. And so she's like, go away, whatever, right? And she stops, she's like, I can't do this. I'm done. And I've whatever, which so then she goes and her she lets her she leaves Elise's, and all this worse stuff happens. Like things start really, you know, she starts seeing more stuff. She starts hearing stuff, starts seeing stuff. Um, and then she gets hit by a truck, and she's now just a sitting duck after she gets, you know. Um, plus she was almost dead at one point. So I'm also wondering what that if that has something to do with things too. Because remember, she almost died on the operating table,
Right.
and then she sees some like lady or something like go hiss at her, like, and then all of a sudden she woke up, you know, and everything. So, so I don't know
I'm
if that
I
sort
don't
of,
know.
you
I'm
know,
I'm I'm not buying how the guy gets there because he follows her into the street. She like sees him twice.
I thought that was the mom at first, and that's what you're supposed to be led to believe because
I mean, it's a cool image of him down the road, right before she gets hit. But I don't know. I don't think she does enough to warrant this. I think that's because I was confused by that. It's like it's not like The Conjuring where they move into the house and it's already haunted.
right,
It's not like one of these other ones where they play, like the Ouija board and they don't say goodbye and then the ghost comes out from that.
right.
It's like, okay, so she thought it was the mom. You're going, Mom, is that you? Mom? So that's enough to bring him to her? I don't get that. That confuses me. I don't think it's done well enough.
Okay, let's see if the Wikipedia, because you read some of it, right? You're reading the some of the plot. Maybe they do explain some of this stuff. Plot. Several years before the Lambert haunting, teenager Quinn Brenner meets with retired demonologist Elise Rayner. Elise reluctantly agrees to try and contact the spirit of Quinn's mother, Lily, who died 1 year prior. However, Elise urges Quinn not to try and contact her mother again after sensing a malevolent force. After auditioning for a school for performing arts, Quinn sees a mysterious figure waving to her from the distance of the street. Distracted, she is hit by a car, having both of her legs broken in the process. Now stuck in her home with her father, Sean, and brother Alex, Quinn begins to experience increasingly disturbing paranormal phenomena, including seeing visions of dark spirit wearing an oxygen mask known as the man who can't breathe, the same figure that caused her accident. So it is the same figure, right? One of
Yeah.
Quinn's neighbors, an elderly woman with dementia, who previously said several confusing and cryptic things to her about the man who can't breathe, passes away. Sean meets with Elise, who like him, is also grieving over the death of her husband Jack, and tries to convince her to help his daughter. Elise declines, stating that her previous visits to the dark spiritual world of the further made her realize that an evil spirit is hunting her. However, she is convinced by her friend and former colleague Carl to continue using her spiritual ability. After he reminds her about the successful case involving Josh Lambert in 1986, and stating that she is stronger than any spirits or demons because she is living and they are not. By the way, that could be a really, really cool prequel, you know, that they have the 1986 Lambert stuff, that they could really like show off a lot of that, I think, right?
Oh yeah, there's past stuff that they could do. They could do like
Origin story of how she
Specs
got
and
into, yeah.
Tucker stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they could have
mean,
a Specs and Tucker story. Due to Elise's refusal, Alex suggests Sean call an alleged demon hunter Specs and Tucker. who have built a following on the internet. During their investigation, Quinn becomes briefly possessed by the man who can't breathe, breaks through her leg braces and attempts to attack Sean, Specs, and Tucker. Sean realizes Specs and Tucker are frauds and prepares to kick the duo out until Elise arrives, deducing that the dark spirits' goal is to lure potential victims to the further so it can eat their life force. Elise decides to enter the spiritual world and enlists Specs and Tucker for help. So I mean, we pretty much read, we pretty much talked about a lot of stuff. So really, this stuff didn't start happening till after she got. But I'm guessing that the man, whatever man who couldn't breathe, was already there in the in that apartment complex. I
I'm
don't
just
think she brought him
I
into
think
this world.
it's too vague. I
Right.
think that it's and I know that we're supposed to show and not tell, but it's I don't know. We almost needed something from the landlord to, when they're up there investigating. It's like, yeah, some old dude was up here. A couple of people got murdered. They needed something to, because I didn't get that that was his apartment. I got that that was just an empty apartment.
Yeah, because later you see her go into that apartment and he's sitting on a chair, and so I'm guessing that that was his apartment.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
think
take on it.
that needed to be a little more, I think, flushed
I mean,
out.
yeah, I got it. I don't know. Some other people may not get it. I got it
No,
from that, but
no, because
that
something like Conjuring 2, I got that the old guy sat in the chair.
right.
And I
But
understood that
yeah,
before he even sat in the chair. Because there's a history of the chair.
right.
Where they, oh, the chair came with the house, and my husband used it, and so you're like, oh, the chair, okay. I think this was just too vague with him. I think that I just didn't understand where he came from. Like how did he get brought into the world?
Right.
So,
I,
but I
I
mean,
agree. Maybe it should have been more explained. I don't know. I got it myself,
I'm
so I don't. It didn't
I
bother
mean,
me.
I liked him, possessing Quinn. I like her, like, destroying the casts, and her legs like all creaking with the
And
bones,
then
and
making their neck go like this because
yeah,
you
and then
know,
just
and
kicking ass.
yeah,
I thought,
it seemed like she had fun, playing, getting to play possessed, and the girl was great. Apparently she's gone on to do a lot of other horror films too and stuff, and she was in Jim and the Holograms, also produced by Blumhouse, So I'm
that's brought
wondering,
up in that interview.
I'm wondering if, uh, I'm wondering if Jim and the Holograms, what, because they had both of those chicks from Insidious, the friend too was in that as well. And I'm wondering if that was like a contract thing of like how some producers will have you for like three pictures or something, and then you have to do
Yeah,
all,
two picture deal,
you know,
three picture deal, five
yeah,
picture. Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
so
Edward Norton is notorious for that. Yeah,
um fucking Weinstein is notorious for getting people like that because I remember hearing that Chasing Amy was supposed to star Dust was it John Stewart for the uh Holden part. Then David Schwimmer was gonna be Banky, and Drew Barrymore was gonna be the lead. Was gonna be, and just because Weinstein had deals with all three of them for movies they needed to get done, and everything. And that's just weird to me to think like that would have been the cast for that movie, because I just can't see David Schwimmer as Banky. I just can't see
right.
it.
Well, you
But
never know. Yeah, I mean, that's
that's a whole nother universe that I would love to explore because that just would have been, that should be a thing he does for like one of his comics,
eh.
puts them as
Well, I mean,
but
yeah, she might have had the deal, 2-3 picture deal, and yeah, so he just had them in these, Sony. So it's or Blumhouse, whoever had them. So it's yeah, you never know.
never know. I mean, it was cool. I
Yeah, I mean, I liked everybody in this. I liked the introduction of you know, Specs and
Tucker.
Tucker,
Yeah,
I
and
thought were,
basically how she was like, "Oh, you need to wear something different," you know,
yeah, you not
and
got to
stuff.
get that white shirt and tie.
Yeah. So like things like that. So it sets up for like future things. There could be a whole series, like a whole TV
Well, wait till you
series.
watch part four. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Much more is answered.
Well, I mean, and of course, I read on IMDb as well that in the trivia that those two characters don't come in until like 61 minutes into the movie, so it's toward the end of the movie. They're not, which I liked because I mean, I don't think all they needed to do was explain who these people are and also what they do, right? So he's like, "Well, I'm the blogger." So she's like, "Okay, you can write everything for me." And I like that. Like, I dug that.
Right.
It worked. I don't know. Honestly, all in all, I had a fun time with this movie. Like, um, I'm not sure how the rest of it's gonna hold up, necessarily, especially seeing it in chronological order. But I had a fun time. I enjoyed it.
I mean, I like the movie. I like it more. I just think that there's stuff that's a little too vague, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was well shot, well made. It was, for the most part, well written. I just don't. I mean, I like all the stuff, with the gas mask guy. I mean, I thought his stuff was fine, and I like the crazy old woman who's trying to kill Elise.
One of the reviews is another fine entry into the franchise that
Fine,
keeps giving. Another fine entry. I don't know if
fine.
that is fine in the way of you're fine, but it's only a six, only 6 out of 10 um review. I want to find the ones that really somebody said disappointed. I do not understand. It had everything to be a success. Ruined the saga with the third film. The first and second were divine. This only mediocre. I'm extremely disappointed. The suspense of the first films are already gone. The soundtrack is not equal. And my God, uh what the hell did the production to the demon? That was written badly. It was pathetic. I became a fan of the first film, but today I was robbed. The film could be actually be better. I feel that the production made things running. I don't I feel like this is a terrible review. I expected an improvement in special effects. Not that got worse, but this is terribly written. I don't know if I should. I would definitely not be taking this guy's thing. Um I hope that the fourth film is well crafted. I would like to hear again the violins. I would like to see the sudden shadows again.
Well, and there was, remember, the demon at the end. So I think the gas mask guy was, yeah, more just like an evil, like ghost or spirit. But the demon from, the other movies is there,
Right.
right over Lynn's shoulder. So see,
Yeah.
she even has her little room that she was going to go down. So everybody has one of these rooms that are locked up, and that nobody's supposed to go into.
Maybe that's in life too. Maybe there's a room out there that you shouldn't go into, John. Don't go into that room.
If it's locked, I normally don't. It's probably
If
locked for a reason.
locked, I usually go, okay.
Yeah, just
In fact,
leave it
it's
alone.
so funny that you say that because I remember you said, congratulations that one of my short films, The Locked Room, got nominated for Best Directing today for one of my friends, I guess award shows that he does for every year for the movies that he reviews. He does a award show. I'm like, all right, sweet. But it was an old thing. It was called The Locked Room. So kind of funny, kind of worked. Um,
There you go. There you go.
but yeah, that whole idea was like, if you knew that you bought a house, right, and were told this door is locked, and you were never allowed to go into this room, would you buy the house knowing that there's a room you shouldn't be going into?
I would
And
have to open up the room first.
would you want to open up the room?
I mean, if it was like the Red Room from the Amityville Horror House, I mean, and if it was like for the movies where it's the big pit, and there's like a demon in there and all that stuff, then probably not. But If it's the room that's in the real house, which is just painted red and it's a sewing room, then sure.
Yeah, well, there was a demon in that one, and that was a fun short. You know, it was my first demon short, that I ever made, and I enjoyed it. I had my little exorcism, and you know, got to got to have fun on a short film on a horror thing. But
There you go.
I don't know if I locked, if there's a room that's locked, I usually leave it alone. Unless I need to go into it. There's a
I
possible.
would have to unless it was hidden behind something like in The Conjuring where they found the other room. So well let's because I know we're gonna wrap this up soon. Let's look at its money here. So Insidious Chapter 3 had an $11 million budget.
Ooh, 11 million. It's
Yeah,
not that's
but
not that expensive.
no. And that's what I'm saying, that I think it's cool that they
Well, it says
use.
on IMDb that $10 million budget estimated.
Well, that's estimated. This says
Yeah.
budget 11 million.
Okay.
Which is why I think that they, when they refurbish hallways and all that for the further, that saves money. But also one thing that Jason Blum points out is, and the interviewer also pointed this out, is he has to pay an actor $600 every time they have a line of dialogue. So you will notice that things like waitresses and other people don't talk because he then
Right.
has to pay them $600.
Oh,
So
I know.
so when I'm watching this movie, I'm looking for people that aren't talking. And so like, okay, like, are they in a restaurant? Does the waitress
Yeah,
talk? Or is
if
she in a
they're extras, they're
cab?
not allowed. They shouldn't be talking.
Well,
Um,
extras talk.
well, here's the thing.
That's how extras get their SAG card.
So I was in a Lifetime movie with uh was it Shannon Doherty was in it and stuff and some other people. And I was in a office scene, and this one uh actress was supposed to walk from like the coffee machine over to like another area, right? And pass by the main girl, Kelly Hugh. So in this scene, they walk up to each other, and Kelly, I guess not thinking about it or whatever, looks over and goes, "Hey, how are you doing?" Right? Kind of because that's what you would do if you were in an office place. You'd be like, "Hello," or whatever, right? You wouldn't just be rude and just walk by and not say anything, typically. Um, and so the extra actress said, hello or whatever, and they crossed paths, and the director yelled cut and said, came over to the girl and said, I'll, thank you so much for that. That was great. Do everything except say hello. Because if you say hello, we need to pay you more, more money and stuff and whatever. So basically she was not allowed to say anything, and it does not seem awkward the way they shot it. Thank God when I watch it, because that's all I was wondering. Is like when I was watching, I was like, is this gonna look awkward? Like
Right.
chick walking by and not saying anything, but it actually does look. And then later, everybody was not supposed to say anything, when we're supposed to congratulate her, but it looked weird when we all just like not saying a word, you know? So she was like, all right, everybody can say congratulations, right? And I guess that didn't count, you know, for the adding the extra thing, but all the extras say congratulations or, whatever. I just thought it was kind of funny. It's like weird that's the thing. Like you have to pay an extra $600 to somebody because it's a SAG project or whatever if they actually talk, you know?
Well, yeah. So I guess in a Jason Blum film, the waitress would not come up to your table and say, "What can I get you?" Instead, the person would just tell the waitress what they want,
Right.
and then she would write it down and leave. So, but
Or she would just, or they, I don't know, I would work it out where, they've already got their food. you know, like that's how I would do it if I, were making a movie. I'd be like, they already have their food, they don't need the waitress, around. The wait, the
Yeah, okay,
waitress can
yeah,
just give
that's
them a
one way of
check
doing
or
it.
something, you know, hand the check. They don't need to say anything when they hand the check.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, okay. So the budget on this was 11 million and it made 113 million.
$113 million.
So
That's 100 million more,
did not
and
did not do too bad.
not too bad. That's why they made a fourth. And I'm guessing the fourth made a good amount because they made a fifth, you know. So
113. I'm not going to say if it did or not. We'll wait till next week. But I just checked, so I'm not going to say yes or no to that.
okay.
Yeah, wait till next week for that one.
Wait,
So
wait till next week.
wait till next week.
You'll find out
So
more. But yeah, that's a really fun time. I enjoyed the movie. Um, I wasn't surprised because I do love Lee. I mean, I think he is probably one of my favorite um directors or writer directors out there, and everything. In Horrorland, you know. So
he was in the Bye Bye Man.
he was in the Bye Bye Man, like he had a part.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Well,
looking up
he
his
was an
acting
actor,
roles. Yeah,
he
it's just
acted in
like
Saw, and
one of the worst movies ever made, and he's in it. So
hey, you know what? I bet they paid him.
he's also in Cooties,
Probably got paid more than $600 to be in it,
probably.
you know.
He's also
So
in a film called The Mule.
the mule. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's Clint Eastwood. Who's gonna
No,
turn it
no,
down?
it's a different Mule. It's a British movie.
Oh, oh, okay, never mind. The British Mule.
Yeah,
That does not even
it's a
sound
different film.
good. No, I was gonna say if it was the Clint Eastwood, I would definitely not, like that would be an honor to be in, and even if I were just an extra, I'd be happy just to work with him,
Yeah,
see the
I got
man
my
at work.
issues with Eastwood, so yeah,
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 no,
got my issues.
yeah, it happens.
Same type of issues that I have with Kevin Sorbo. So in the same realm.
Okay,
Okay.
whatever. Anyway, moving on. Well, I just want to say thank you, John. Was there anything else? Did we
Oh,
do
we have
anything?
to. Don't we have to give it like a star rating?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I'm gonna give it a 4-star rating. You know,
Okay, and that's out of five,
and
right?
that's out of 5.
Um,
I feel like you're gonna go under because of the confusion.
I would say I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, I figured you would. Was not
Yeah.
confused. Didn't bother me.
Well,
Um,
I just because I mean it was a couple months ago, but because I did that marathon, I mean I'm kind of looking at it compared to the other movies too.
right.
So even though I did like it, it's I still think maybe it might end up being the weakest. So it might be my Conjuring 3.
Mm. Uh,
But I still enjoy it. So yeah, I would say 3, maybe 3.5, like 3.5, but definitely a 3.
there you go. By the way, we forgot to mention that she gets to see Jack again, her her former husband, and he is not. I knew it wasn't him. Like the whole time I'm like, get away from that. That's the demon. He's fucking with
Oh
you
yeah.
right now. So I've seen enough of these movies to know like you never trust somebody if you see them, or whatever. And then she knows it because he he says he wants her to kill him or kill herself and stuff.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, he would never tell me that. That's what I've never understood in these movies. And I guess maybe in something like this, which is more supernatural, and the person's in some other place, so maybe you would believe that. But there's also stuff like Event Horizon, where you're in the middle of space, and one of the characters sees her kid, and she's like, "Tommy, is that you, Tommy?" And runs after the kid, And it's like, no, it's the freaking devil or aliens or whatever it ended up being, just screwing with you. Why would your kid be in outer space?
Yeah,
But for something like this, I guess, yeah, it would make a little more sense because,
because
it's a
she's in
spirit
the
thing.
the
And
further, you know.
yeah,
So you might believe that he is in the further, but no, he's yeah.
but he
I
does
knew.
talk to her at the end, though, in his own little kind of
Yeah, which was sweet.
sweater vest type of
That was
way.
sweet. You know, I
So
like that. I like that he puts the clothes on the bed or whatever and everything, and she was like, "Oh,
I
you're
want to
here."
see that from I want to see it from when the dog was watching it. Like, is the dog just watching this like sweater vest kind of just move along and be put onto the bed, and it gets kind of neatly put out, and maybe the dog gets like a little biscuit from the ghost.
Uh, yeah, a pat on the head from the ghost.
Yeah, yeah, you just kind of see this little
Mm.
invisible hand kind of going up and down on the dog's head.
The
So
dog does like, okay, yeah, yeah. It's funny. Um, we forgot to mention, what is the dog's name?
I take it you remember because I don't.
Warren, which was a
Oh,
reference to the Warrens.
yeah, The Conjuring.
No, it wasn't,
Yeah.
and not just because of The Conjuring and because it's reference to him, but it like Elise would be friends sort of with the Warrens, and be, because she's friends with a lot of those demonologists and stuff like that. So it's kind of in a way, I think, feeling like
So
maybe
that's a
they're
spinoff
tying
that we
it.
need to do.
Yeah, there's kind of tying that there's, even though they can't because there's two different companies, production companies.
That's the problem.
That's the
Yeah.
problem because I want people to start, like, companies to start working together, like Warner Brothers um and who puts these up? Blumhouse, so Universal,
Sony.
Sony. So Sony uh and Warner Brothers get together, make a Conjuring versus Insidious like spin-off thing or something, That
I
could be
think that
cool.
would be yeah, I think that would be fun. And I did a post on Facebook with some movies that I bought and nobody was in there. And it was getting some good comments like, "Oh, that's a really good movie," and all that. And it's from the writer of John Wick. Well, technically, John Wick, Atomic Bomb, Nobody are all in the same universe,
Hmm.
but they can't ever make spin-offs because they're all from different companies.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing, is they were going to do a John Wick and Atomic Blonde spin-off, but they're like, well, crap, we can't. So yeah, I agree with you. I think these companies need to get together because I think that would be fun, and having
I mean, I don't understand. Like, I
Elise meet
guess the
up with
idea is you
the
take less
Warrens.
money, you know? Like they'd have to go half and half on the money. So,
Well, that was the big thing with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, was half. Everything was half at the same time. So when you have like Bob Hoskins falling with the piano, and you had Bugs Bunny here, and I think it was Mickey Mouse here, because those are the two big guys, is they had to have the exact same time. So if Bugs Bunny was on screen for 30 seconds, Mickey Mouse had to be on screen for 30 seconds.
oh,
So like neither one, so they had to equally distribute the time between the characters. So then Warner wasn't pissed that Goofy got more time than on a Wildy Coyote. So
understandable.
yeah, I mean
But
it's but
but
you
see, it
you
happens. It's happened. Like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit goes to prove that it's possible for
yeah.
companies to sort of do it. So Warner Brothers and Disney work together. So why not Warner Brothers and Sony or whatnot? So
Well, and they do it for comic books.
yeah,
I mean,
but see,
there's
and
the
that's what sort of I've heard that's sort of what James Gunn wants to do eventually with DC and Marvel, is bring them together and everything. And so, I mean, that'll be an interesting thing to to have happen, like a world where those two comic universes collide, and
Well, and I
everything.
think like Batman and Spider-Man have met up,
Yeah,
in
but
the
not in the
comics.
movies.
No.
No, so it'd be really cool if it happens in the movies at some point, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for
Goes
this.
back to ego.
It goes back to
Ego and
money.
money.
Money is the big thing. Ego's a little bit of it, but it's more like we're spending, you know, we're putting up, and, and that's the thing though. That means they have to only put up less money, you know, so they still get back more money, you know, and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It's just unfortunate that you have to wait till like New Line Cinema, picks up both Freddy and Jason for them to finally do their Freddy meets Jason movie.
yeah.
So it's like
See,
you,
that's why Disney is just buying over all the properties up because they just want to put everything together.
oh god,
I know everybody hates it, but I'm like, that's actually not that bad of an idea.
well, it's smart to have a monopoly on everything, but if normally if one thing sucks, then it all sucks.
That's true.
So it's
So if you
you know
go
I,
one direction, for everything, then people are gonna
yeah,
be pissed.
kind of like if you do two films back to back and the first one
Right.
sucks and you're like, oh no, the first one was awful.
Yep.
I can't, the second one is probably going to be the same thing. It's made by the same people.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've talked this enough and stuff. Like we've gone longer than I think we were planning to. So, but I want to thank you once again. This has been awesome. Everybody, let us know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy this? And what was Insidious 3 one of your favorites? Were you confused by the stuff that we were confused by earlier? I don't know.
Yeah. And here's my question to people out there. When the sister goes into the little brother's room and he's sleeping, I'm glad he wasn't masturbating when she, bursted in. But when she comes in, she says it stinks. So let me know down below, what does it stink like? Does it stink like BO? Is it bad breath? Is it stinky socks? Or does it maybe smell like ass?
Masturbating
So, or could it
stuff.
be that like maybe he had masturbated earlier and there's like that smell, that type
No,
of thing in there? Because what is,
why
what does
not?
the room smell like?
That's
Because
what
she
I'm gonna
just
say.
says
I'm gonna
it's.
say it smells like he masturbated.
See, I think it smells like farts. I mean, like really, really horrible farts. And she's like, "Oh God." So,
Maybe, who
so
knows?
I, yeah. So if you guys want, just let us know. What,
Let us know so we can
yeah,
all figure this out. All
the
right.
world wants to know
The world, we definitely want to know how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll factory and a Tootsie Pop.
in his butt.
All right. Anyway, everybody, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next week for Insidious, the last chapter or last key.
The
But
last, the lost key,
the last key? Oh
lost
God,
key,
I thought it was the
the
last
last
key.
key.
The
It is
last
last key.
key. Okay, so there you go.
Did you notice on? Do yours have this where they have the red?
I don't think
Like
so.
this is in, and then the white Insidious, and then it's SI2 is in red, and then this one
It
has
does do that, yeah.
I3 in red.
Look, where
Does it spell something? Is it like done that way on purpose? Like, does it actually spell Insidious? Oh fuck, it does. It actually spells Insidious
what for what?
for the titles with the red. If you take INSIDISUS, it spells Insidious in red.
That's weird because mine only does it for like chapter 2 is white for most of the stuff, and then chapter 3 is all of the eyes are red. All the eyes are red. And then Insidious 1 is all is all white. Look at that.
That's so boring. They actually put creativity into this.
Yeah, but then look, it's a little more creative. So all the rest have like different colors.
But it doesn't spell anything though, right?
No. I
This
mean,
this
it
actually spells
says,
Insidious.
I mean, it has Insidious and then it says SI and I. and SIIU are red. I don't know.
Huh.
Hold on. No, I mean, yeah, that doesn't spell anything. SIIUSI. I don't know.
I.
I.
Uh,
That's the
my
answer to this ending. Okay, bye everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this.
bye.
Later.